In today's video, we're continuing with the 21-day challenge, and we're going into first impressions, but then using that and becoming aware of the impressions that you get and how or what do you do to take actions after you notice these things coming in as an empath, as a highly sensitive. What actions do you then take? So day 21 of the 21-day challenge for empaths and highly sensitives. And today what I want to go into is the first impressions, like the feelings you get as an empath, as a highly sensitive, and then being able to use that for yourself. So what do I mean by this? Often when I go into a room or I step into a space, I might get an overwhelming feeling in that space. Or if I'm with people that I've never met or something, and you meet them for the first time and you're like, whoa, I get this automatic feeling with them. And one example, I had this happen a few times. I was living in New York City and I would commute from Brooklyn into Manhattan. And on the train, there were many times I'd step into a train car and I'd be like, oh my God, oh, whoa, like that feeling of it feels horrible, of like there's massive tension in here, someone's fighting, something's going on, or it feels creepy, or it just doesn't, there's something going on that doesn't feel right in here. And like I've had scenes where it's like you step into a train car and there's no one on it and one person and you're like, this is creepy when all the other train cars are full. Oh, it's because that guy is causing a scene. He is kind of crazy, weird, whatever. Or you step into a train car and there's people yelling at each other down the train car. And so everyone is feeling the tension of this. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be in here. So in those cases, you can feel this palpable energy when you even just step into that train car. So that's an example, and that's kind of an extreme one where I would really notice it, like the instant I would step into, the area or the space, I would be like, oh, I do not feel good about this. And I would get that with different people as well, like you run into different people and you're like, I feel creep right here, like creep factor, no, this is not comfortable, like I'm gonna leave now. So I bring up this because you can sense these different energies. You don't even know what it is you're picking up on, but you feel it instantly a lot of times, at least as an empath, as a highly sensitive. And what do you do with it? Like, have you taught yourself to kind of stuff it down, or do you actually listen to that voice? Do you say, this feels uncomfortable, I'm stepping out of here, I'm leaving? And there have been times when I got on a train car and at the next stop I ran down to the next one because I was like, I am not staying in here. I don't care, it feels weird, it feels, I don't need to stay in that feeling. Like, I don't need to keep myself, even if you might be safe, I really don't need to stay in that. So I ask you the question of what do you do? Do you take action listening to that voice inside of you? And that is taking back your power or listening to your power. It's like, oh, there are things that I can do, that I can change, and it's a choice that I'm making. I can choose, like in the case of the train cars, I can choose to stay in it and feel ick, or I can choose to step away and walk away from it and go somewhere else, like to the next train car. In those cases, it was pretty simple just to run up to the next train car, so I could make the change. But when you're in front of someone else and you're having a conversation with them and you're like, this feels weird, I don't really feel comfortable, do you take the steps to shift out of it if you want? Or are you like the people pleaser, which I know I am? It's like, oh, I'll just listen a bit longer. Okay, even though I feel uncomfortable, it's like this voice inside of you that you don't want to hurt their feelings by walking away or doing something. But you have that choice as well of, in the same case as the train car, I don't feel comfortable here. So I can choose to shift this. So you can find ways to say, oh, I have to run to the bathroom, or, oh, a friend of mine just came in, or something. I don't want to use like lying to, get out of the situation, but what are ways that can keep you safe and keep you like, oh, I actually don't really want to be in this situation. I don't really want to hang out here. Call on friends or other people around you to shift things around for you. So today's exercise is about becoming aware of those first impressions and how you notice them or when you notice them, and then noticing if you take action or if you do anything about it and when and where. And if you don't, like in the case of me with, oh, I'm standing there chatting with someone, but I don't know how to get out of this, what are little techniques I could do? So I have like another tool in my back pocket of like, oh, I can get out of this situation by doing this or by doing that. And that makes me feel still that I'm in integrity. Again, I don't want to be using things where I'm lying to people or, like doing things that don't feel right for me. So it's like, what feels right for me of a way that keeps me safe, but also helps me shift out of these conversations. And I would be curious if any of you have had those experiences. What tools do you use? Like, what do you use? So do put that in the comments below. I would be curious to hear. So again, it's just becoming aware, just starting to become aware. And that is really stepping into your power. Like that is when you make the choice for you rather than making it out of some like, oh, I need to make them feel happy or, I don't want to cause waves and they're not going to like me. Is that really making the choice for you or not? So thank you for joining me on this 21-day challenge. And I hope that a lot of this is about stepping into gaining your awareness, really stepping into you. And as you step into those things, you learn your power, you learn your abilities, and you can really stand in your own and know who you are. So play with, again, go back through any of these videos and play with different tools or ideas of how to connect with yourself, also how to protect yourself or take care of yourself or clear energies, whatever it is you need. You have all these tools that you can use, and as well starting to use them for yourself. Like, using this, oh, how do I have that first impression, and then what do I do with it? Do I shift myself out of this or not? Do I stay in it and just kind of take it? Or do I actually want to step into my power and be like, no, I actually don't. Like in the train car, I was like, I could stay, but I really don't want to. So again, use it for yourself and really step into this sensitivity for yourself. So thank you again for joining me. Again, I'm AmyC with You Finding You. And if you are enjoying and getting value out of these videos, do hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.